Good morning, everyone. I am Debbie Cronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I got Paper Pumpkin this month. This is April 2025. The April 2025 kit was absolutely beautiful. I love the alcohol blend paper that was in it. And there were 9 sheets or 9 card bases, and I cut them in half and started from there. And over the next 7 days, I will release the 21 cards that I created using these card bases. So I've already had my class, and my girls already made their cards. And so each month I do this. I take the paper pumpkin and I redesign and make as many cards as possible out of it. If you're interested in subscribing to that, you'll find a link at stampwithdeb.com. It's not on there yet, not till I get these on. So each day out of this week, I will release 3 of them. So today we're going to start with card number 1, which I did using the paper pumpkin. And to add to that, I used the March Daisy Daydream, one of the expressions here, this thank you. I also used Impressions of Bloom, which is one of our new bundles that's coming out May 6th. It will be available. And I used Thankful Garden, which is, I believe, also on that May 6th list. So those are what I used to create this card. On this one, I used the leaves, this branch right here. And in the Impressions of Bloom, I used the die only, no stamps. The die that goes with, gee, it's not in here. Looks like I'm missing. Oh, here it is. These things have slid all over. Okay, so this die, which I have taped together so that when I cut it, it cuts both pieces at the same time. And so I used that one. And you'll see this one show up again in other places, the Impressions of Bloom. Okay, so let's get started with card number 1. And so mine is all cut and ready to be assembled, but I'll give you the instructions as I go along and tell you what I did. So I have my card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to set that aside because I'm really not going to, well, I have 2 pieces that I cut to go inside of that. And this is how my instructions are laid out as well. So I will tell you what I have. And so this one is a piece of basic white that's cut at 3 3 3/4 by 5. Don't tell me I'm out. I can't be. No, that one is not working right. It got dropped. And so this one's going to act up too. Oh, 3 3/4 by 5. And, well, good thing that won't show. And the other one behind it is at 4 by 5 1/4. And that is for the inside of my card. So we're going to set that aside. I do not anchor mine into my card until after I've written what I want to write in there. Okay, so then we have another piece that's 5 1/4 by 4. That is fresh freesia. I'm working with fresh freesia. A piece of basic white that is 3 3/4 by 5. And I have embossed it with exposed brick embossing folder and cut a circle. Now I cut my circle first because once you emboss it, if you emboss and then cut the circle, you'll smash your embossing. I have just a little piece of one of the fronts of the cards that I cut out, and I'm going to put a little adhesive in the corners here by the circle because I just want to attach that right in there with my Stampin' seal. And I'm going to put it so that this little gold shows on this side. And I don't care if it shows on the bottom, that would be fine. But I just want a little bit of it to show on that side. So I'm going to go as far over as I can. And you can see I went so far over that I'm showing on this side. So I'm just going to trim that off. I should have cut it a little smaller. So on that measurement, you might want to reduce it by a little bit. So I will not change it in the instructions because I have said that. So, okay, and then I'm going to attach this And it doesn't matter. I am a little bigger at the bottom than the top. So, oops, put that aside. That's the one that's, I'm going to have to give it some attention. And I'm just going to attach this to the front of this card, to my fresh freesia. Now it does matter, so this has to be on my right. So I'm going to adhere my my flowers first, and I should have my white one is going to go on, and these are going to go on with, this one's going to go on with a glue dot. Let's see if I have any glue dots left on here. So this will go up here. That allows me to be able to tuck that purple one in behind it, because I have a little purple one that I'm going to stick in behind it. It looks like I'm going to need some more glue dots too, of course. I have not got one left on that roll. Okay, let me grab those. Hang on a minute. Okay, got them. Ready to go. Okay, so let me just put a little purple, a little glue dot on that purple, that fresh freesia, and stick that right up there behind it. Okay, and then I have a little circle that's going to go in that flower as well. And this is punched from a 3/8 inch circle punch, which I don't know if we carry that any longer. But I'm sure you can pick one up most anywhere. Okay, my second flower is going to be this pink one, and it's going to go on with a dimensional. Let's grab a dimensional. You notice I've colored my dimensional so beautifully. That's so that I will know if I've removed the paper. But it really doesn't work well for me because most of the time I remove the paper right away. I'm going to place this one. I should have placed them first and then figured out where I was going with them. This one is also going to get a dimensional. See, now it's purple, and I know that it has the paper on it still. So I'm going to just go right in there, just like that. And they all come out different, of course. Yours may be different than mine, but that's okay. That means it's your design, and that's good. Okay, so I'm going to attach this little leaf, which I just left the glue dot on, and tuck it right up in here. And these are going to go underneath this bottom one. Oops. Grab these glue dots. And this is going to go right up under here. Okay, now I should have another little leaf that's green. And another purple one too, I think. And I'm not seeing my other purple one. Oh, I should have two purples and a green. I goofed on this one. Okay. We're just going to stick this. Should have gone right in here, but I think it's too much green. So we're just going to forget it. Okay, my paper's twisting. We're going to go ahead and do our ribbon. So this is about 3 inches of ribbon. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to put a glue dot on it right there. And tuck this right under here. And I am going to put another glue dot on there, just to hold my leaves in place, just so they don't get messed up and in and out of the envelope. Another one under here. Okay, so then I have a little tag that I punched with one of our retired punches. Oh, let's get our centers on here. So if I just take this and stick it on here, it's going to pick up that glue dot. And I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. And then I can pull that off with that and place it right in the center where it belongs. Same with this one. Okay, and then we have some bling. This is the 2024-26 in color shimmer dots. In color shimmer dots, I think they're called. And there should be a green one hanging around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Because it's all alone, it's kind of lost. See if I can get that off of there. Okay, this one's going to take the fingernail. And let's go that way. And it's on there. Okay, now we have our greeting here, our thank you. And I'm going to stamp that in black memento. And that is one of the greetings that was in last month's paper pumpkin, the March 2025 one. And I'm going to put that on with mini dimensionals. Let's go back over here. I'll tell you what, coloring those made them easy to find too. I don't have too many things that bright purple like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this right in here. Whoops, that one's crooked. Let's bring it down. There. I didn't trim the tails on my ribbon, so let's do that. Just give it a little slant here. Okay. Now we're going to attach this to the front of the card. I think I'm going to go to liquid glue for the next one. I'm just not doing well with this thing this morning. So I'll have to grab my green glue. Okay, and I am going to use my bone folder just to get this card to lay down smooth. Let's see, I was using it yesterday. Yeah. And there is card number 1. Isn't that beautiful? That paper was so easy to work with. So these are cut out of the card front that came in the paper pumpkin kit. This is cut from Pool Party, and this is, of course, a basic white. But the flowers were cut. These 2 flowers were cut from that kit. Okay, so let's move on to card number 2. Let's put that one aside, and let's put that little leaf there. Card number 2 uses the set, the dies, and they're called Wanted to Say, and they're just celebrate happy birthday, and they do have an outline, so this one fits into here when you cut it. So what I've done is I have taken the card base, pull this out. It's funny, this looks like another card to me. Okay, I've taken my card base and I've already I cut the celebrate right out of there. So you can see I have a hole in my base. Nobody's going to ever know that that's there because we're going to hide it. And so whenever you're doing something like that, it helps you save on paper at the price of paper. And with the paper prices going up in May, you'll want to stock up before. Okay, so let's start with on the bottom here. Once again, I have these 2. Let me grab a green glue. I like my green glue. So let's just grab a new one. That way we know it'll come out. Oh, but my other one's over there. That's fine. Just need less hassle with it to start with. Okay. And so I'm just going to attach this to the color. And I always try to put a color on the inside. I have the white area that I'm going to write on. And you could put I could have put a strip of this paper in here if I had some extra paper. It would just add to it. So there's the inside of our card. For the front of our card, we have a piece of Pool Party that's cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then this is part of the paper pumpkin that I die cut using the, what are they called? They're one of our new dies sets. They're called Textured Notes dies, and there's a whole bunch of dies, and they all have different edges on them. You can see it on this card. I use several different designs. So what I did is I lined that up so it cut right around that gold, and there we are. Okay, so this is going to go on the front of my card. I don't think I cut this one at 5 3/8. That's a pretty, I'm going to give it a trim real quick here, because a little bit more should be showing. So let's see, did I cut it at 5 3/8? That's the question. I mean, no, 4 1/8. Should have been 4 1/8. Well, I think I did, but I'm going to just trim it down just a hair so that it has a nice even margin. Okay, that's better. All right, that works better. And so I'm just going to attach this to the front of my card, which is a basic white again, and it's cut at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Okay, and then I have, this is cut from, the white is cut from another one of those dies. I'm going to get a silicone mat here just so I don't get glue all over and get things stuck that I don't want stuck. Okay, Celebrate is going to go, this is going to go on here. Let me see my card. Which ones did I pop up? Okay, that's what I thought. This is going to go flat onto my pool party. My pool party is going to get popped up after I put it on the card. So we're going to go ahead and put this on and cover our Celebrate here. And this is going to go flat onto my card. And you want to look at the outside edges, not at where Celebrate is, which is really hard to do, you know, making sure it's up and down, right and left, because the tendency is to look at what's inside. Okay, and here we're going to use some dimensionals. Let's see if I have some big ones. I do. And just one on each corner. And maybe one in the middle, just to support that. Oops! Sticking to me. I'm trying to throw it in the trash. Okay, so let's get this centered. Just like that. Okay, we have our Celebrate. For the Celebrate, I am using a non-Stampin' Up! Product. It's called Nuva. And it's you can purchase it at Sweet Petunia. I really like this because it has such a tiny little tip on it, and the glue doesn't run all over. We do have a fine tip ink at Stampin' Up!, but I find that it's too watery for me. I end up with glue everywhere, and it is a fine tip. Oops, I have something going on here. Okay, just a little glue that had dried on there. And our fine tip is, it's called the fine tip glue, but it is a clear, but I just have a terrible time with it. I have found that this is much easier for me to use. It lines up easy to get in there. So, that's what I'm using, is what works best for me. I'm going to attach my Celebrate right here. Not get it too high. I'm going to drop it in there. Okay, then I have this little leaf thing. I don't even know what this thing's called. It's a circle with a leaf. And I'm assuming that the circle is there to make it easier to attach, but I'm going to cut it off the circle. I'm not even going to keep that half. I'm going to put this on a glue dot. and just tack it in this little corner here. And then I have tied a bow, and this is in Petunia Pop, which is one of our in colors. This paper coordinates with Fresh Freesia, Petunia Pop, Highland Heather. There's an orange in it that you'll see that I used later in the week. It was such a great paper that it just coordinated with so many things, and that was the great thing about it. So, and it was really fun to work with. Okay, so let's add this is the Petunia Pop in color dots from 2024 through 26, I believe it goes. We'll just add that one there. And that is card number 2. So let's move on to card number 3 now. This is our final card for this morning. And then the rest I will be working on and putting on Facebook during the week. Okay, so this is card number 3. This uses one of the stamps that's in the set, in the Paper Pumpkin set, as well as this outline that came from the Paper Pumpkin set. Okay, I need to grab that ink. I did not grab the ink, so let me grab that. Let's see, what is it that I use? Fresh Freesia? That's kind of light. I'm going to do Petunia Pop. I think Petunia Pop will be darker, and it'll go well with it. The little stems are cut in Petunia Pop. Okay, so let's start out. This card is not a normal size card. It's 4 1/4 by 7 1/2, I believe. Yep, 7 1/2. And so I've got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. No, 4. Oops, that came out wrong. 4 by 5 1/4. Pool party. And then I have a 3 3/4 by 5 basic white. And those are going to go on the inside. I think that's the measurements on this. Yeah. And so those, I'm going to go ahead and put those inside the card because that's what kind of makes the card here. Okay, now this little flap, this is the front flap that we're going to work on now. And this is going to get, let's see, this piece. So I have 2 pieces. So this is 2 inches wide. So this is 1 7/8. And this one is 1 3/4. And this one was cut from the card front from the Paper Pumpkin kit. These are all really simple cards, but I wanted you to see how beautiful they are and how easy they were to create. Creating is my favorite part of my job. Writing instructions is probably my least favorite part. But it's one of the things that I need to do to help you out. So all the instructions are written, all my cards are created, and it's good. Okay, so there we go. Now we have this flap here that we're going to add on. For some reason mine's sticking. There's something under there. Okay, so I have 1 layer here. I'm not going to give those measurements. They're in the instructions, and I'll put the instructions on my blog in just a few minutes. And so this one is going to go on here. And unfortunately, at this time, this Paper Pumpkin refill kit is not available. I don't know if it will be down the road. This month is the first month that they have done something different with our Paper Pumpkins as far as us being able to order them. And so there was some mix-ups with it. Paper Pumpkin's been around for many years, but this was the first month they changed the website. And so that created a problem. I felt very fortunate I was not included in the problem in any way, but I can't get any refill kits. So I have 4 cards that I will not do videos on because I can't get the refill kits. I think there's 4. And I used the product from those kits. So, or I used the product from my kit, so it's gone. I'm going to turn this one around this way so my pink is on that end. Okay, we're going to attach this so that it hangs over the edge. So when you do this, be careful not to get glue on the other end. Make sure where you're putting your glue or your adhesive. If I put it on this end, then this would now become the right end. Do not put it all over the back. And I'm just going to center this right to left, top to bottom. Hopefully it's pretty centered. Okay, so we have this greeting. So I left my greeting over there. And it's thinking of, oops, stuck my hand in my ink pad. Let me get a wipe for my hand and the greeting at the same time. Okay, so where's my little greeting tag? Right here. So this is the tag that came in the paper pumpkin kit. And I'll tell you what, in order to see it well, I am going to put it on a piece of black paper. Because otherwise, sometimes the outline is hard to see on this paper. Because you've got white on white. We're going to move it this out of the way. Put this on a piece of black. Just right down here if I can. I'm going to test my stamp. Good color. Yeah, that's brighter. And I'm just going to go right on there. Hovering over it, watching the outline, and just looking at the edges and making sure I'm like within the right edges. And there we are. We have a beautiful thinking of you. Okay, and this is going to go on my card with dimensionals. And this one can have the standard dimensional. It's kind of overkill, but it is going on the front. And it will get smashed in the mail, right? So, so I colored this with Sharpies, by the way. These are colored with Sharpies because the Sharpies usually don't come off unless you have alcohol. You can clean off Sharpie using alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Okay, so I have a bow, which I have already tied. Losing my voice here. I have 2 of these little, I'm going to call them closed flowers because they're not open all the way. They're not like a big flower. And those came from the Impressions of Bloom. That was the die. That is this die right here out of Impressions of Bloom. And so I'm going to tuck these underneath here. So where's my glue dots? So the first one, I'm going to put the glue dot on the top so that it'll stick to the back of the tag that I'm sticking it to. I'm going to stick it in between these right here. So I'm going to put that glue dot on top. The second one, I'm going to put the glue dot on the bottom so it can stick to the bottom section. Oops, no, I'm not. I just put it on the top, almost. Okay. And I'm just going to tuck that underneath there. I don't want it to line up perfectly. I want it to line up crooked. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to put my little bow here on with a glue dot. This is a retired ribbon, and I have no idea what it's called, but it's a pool party. So I said, hey, that works for me. All right, we're going to finish off with our bling, which I have lost. That's what happens when you dump your packet out and don't pay attention to the bling. Okay, so I used some bling on this, but it looks like mine is missing. I'm not seeing it anywhere. So I'd add a little bling here, here, and here. So those are the 3 cards to start with, and then just keep checking back all week. If you click on follow, then you'll get notified each time I post another set of cards every day. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.